Today is November 3rd, 2020, Election Day, and this is the first hearing of the month for the City of Tempe Hearing Officer. My name is Vanessa McDonald. I am the hearing officer. Joining me this afternoon are Shelby Meyer and Drew Yoakum, both from the Community Development Department. I'm going to read something into the record, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into our very brief agenda this afternoon. The City of Tempe Hearing Officer is authorized by Arizona Revised Statutes and the City of Tempe Zoning and Development Code. The hearing officer has the duty to carry out both the provisions and the intent of the zoning code and the Tempe City Code. The hearing officer is granted the authority to conduct public hearings to decide upon the abatement of code violations occurring on properties within the City of Tempe. Code violations include, but aren't limited to, deteriorated landscaping, inoperable vehicles, deteriorated structures, storage of junk or refuse, or deteriorated swimming pools. Abatement actions are brought before the hearing officer by the city's Code Compliance Division, typically after numerous attempts at contacting the property owner have failed to obtain compliance with the Tempe City Code. The hearing officer may issue an order directing the owner, occupant, rental agent, or property manager or any other responsible person to abate a code violation or authorize the city to abate the condition giving rise to that violation. The cost of such abatement is the responsibility of the owner of the property where the violation occurred and may be collected as an assessment against the property found to be in violation. On today's agenda, we have just two items. We have a set of minutes from October 6th, 2020, and a single property abatement. Any property owner who's aggrieved by a decision of the hearing officer may file an appeal within 14 calendar days after the hearing officer has made a decision. As such, the deadline for appealing any decision rendered today is 3 p.m. on November 17th, 2020. Again, my name's Vanessa McDonald, and we're ready to go ahead and jump into our agenda. The first item on the agenda is the consideration of minutes from the meeting of October 6th, 2020. I had a chance to review the minutes in the packet that I was given for this afternoon's meeting, and I believe that they accurately reflect what took place at that hearing. So I'm going to approve the minutes for October 6th, 2020. The second item on our agenda is a request to abate public nuisance items at the Chapman-Olinsky property. This property is located at 3230 South Burchett Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented this afternoon by Barbara Simons. Ms. Simons.
I'm Barbara Simons, Code Inspector for the City of Tempe. Today I'm requesting approval for a 180-day abatement to remove stored items from the front and sides of the property at 3230 South Burchett Drive. This case opened November 15th last year with a dead citrus tree. A notice was sent to Corey Chapman and Elizabeth Olinsky. Upon reinspection of the property in mid-December, I observed numerous items stored in both side yards, and the dead tree was still there. I resent the first notice to include also the observed stored items on the property. On January 21st, I re-inspected the property and the tree was gone. Again, I observed numerous items, bags, boxes, and miscellaneous household items stored on the sides of the property. I resent the violation notice for the stored items only. Excuse me. On February 6th, I re-inspected the property and observed even more stuff stored on the property than before. There were items now in front of the garage and on the front porch, so I sent final notice. On February 20th, I spoke with the owner who explained that she serves as a donation point for homeless distribution and that people just leave stuff in front of her house. I explained that this was a violation and that she would have to come up with a different process. She was supposed to call me back with a date when the items would be removed, but she never did call. On March 19th, I re-inspected the property, and there was stuff piled up in front of the garage and underneath a large temporary shade structure on the north side yard. I resent final notice. On June 2nd, I re-inspected the property and observed no change from my most recent visit. I resent the final notice with a warning that this would be the final notice. On June 24th, the property remained the same, and Ms. Oliski, one of the owners, emailed saying that the entity that was supposed to pick up the stored items kept pushing the timeout due to the pandemic, and that the current date for removal was July 23rd. I emailed her back and gave her until the 27th of July with no further extensions. I advised her to make other arrangements if her currently scheduled pickup was delayed again. On August 3rd, I re-inspected the property and the canopy was gone, but there were still numerous items remaining, distributed along the garage and other fence walls. I issued a citation on August 4th. On September 23rd, the property was in the same condition, so I submitted an abatement package and posted notice to the property. On October 14th, Ms. Oliski emailed me a detailed description of her charitable activities, and it occurred to me that she was running an illegal home occupation. I explained it to her and encouraged her to speak with my supervisor, Jeff Tamulevich. On October 22nd, Mr. Tamulevich spoke with Ms. Oliski on the phone and explained the code. She ultimately agreed with him that the property was in violation. I did visit the property today, and there were still a number of items remaining, though it was improved.
Okay, did you by any chance take pictures
Yes.
today?
There we go. This would be the north side of the garage.
Okay,
This is the front porch,
or, okay.
and this would be the south side.
So there has been measurable improvement,
There has been.
definitely from the pictures that I had in my packet, but nevertheless, I mean, this has just been an ongoing, problem with her. And even though today or last week, she may have indicated she knows she's in violation, if we don't do this abatement, the trend would likely be that more items would begin to collect on the property. Is that your sense of the?
That is my
Matter.
belief, and in the email that she sent me on October 14th, she was somewhat argumentative about what the violation was because she said the items continued to be recycled in and out. So she seemed to be somewhat determined
Yeah,
to continue the process, although she did subsequently speak with Jeff Tamulevich, and I think he may have convinced her that she was violating code.
Right.
As to whether or not she's going to continue or will continue to try and clean up the property, I have no idea.
I don't think the code distinguishes between, an item having to be the same item left there for months or items coming and going. Because collectively, what it is just, the storage of refuse, really, because, someone else doesn't want this stuff. So it is technically refuse that, we can't tolerate. I mean, it's sad that it's a charity if she's doing it for charity, but she just can't do it at this location in a lawful way. Mr. Yoakum, do we have anyone on the line? Has the property owner called in?
We've had no communication at this time.
Okay, great. Well, I agree with you, Ms. Simons. I think that, as of today, it might be better, but who knows what it might look like next week. So I think that you need the tool of the 180-day open abatement to keep an eye on the property and ensure that it's cleaned up. I don't know if you consider it in code right now or if it's still out of code. But nevertheless, I just would encourage you to keep a keen eye on this property
I will do that.
to ensure that it doesn't go out of compliance.
Okay.
So therefore, I am granting, there being no public comment at this point, and given your testimony this afternoon, I'm going to go ahead and approve the abatement of the items at 3230 South Burchett Drive contained in CE 197362.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our agenda this afternoon. Mr. Yocum, when is our next hearing?
The next hearing officer meeting will take place on November 17th at 5 p.m. here in the council chambers, but can be viewed on Tempe 11 and WebEx.
Okay, thank you. We're adjourned.